Hey, good morning, Facebook. Happy Saturday to you. I wanted to take this time to give you a personal story of how I started this business that I'm in now and how I even got into business. So it all started back in 2002, and I was working in a store called CompUSA. Now, I don't know if you guys remember CompUSA. They're kind of like what the Best Buy is to now. They sell all these computers and gadgets and all sorts of things like that. And I was a salesman. And at that time, working at CompUSA, this guy comes in and he starts buying like shopping cart after shopping cart after shopping cart full of things. And at the end of the sale, he was like, well, thanks for helping me, but I have no way of setting this up. I don't know how to set up a computer and TVs and routers and things like that. And at the time, CompUSA didn't have like the Geek Squad where they would actually come to your house. And I would always just help people, my neighbors and family and friends on the side with computers. So I said, you know what, I can come to your house and I can go ahead and set it up. So he gave me his address and it said 400 Alton Road. Now, let me back up a little. I grew up in Miami Gardens, and my mom is a first generation Haitian American. So I actually had never really left that vicinity of Miami Gardens. So I had never been to Miami Beach where this guy lives. And I can remember it was a Saturday morning, and I put the address in 400 Alton Road, Miami Beach, Florida. And it takes me on the I-95. And for those of you know I-95 to get to Miami Beach, you have to then take the 395. And from there, you're seeing the cruises and the yachts and the water. And I'm like, wow, I've been living in Miami my entire life. I've never seen this. I've never been exposed to this. Anytime we had to go to the beach with my mom, I think we used to go to Hallandale Beach. And I go up, and I can remember going up to his apartment. And I mean, the girls, from the view that I can see, and the boats and the marina. And I mean, it was beautiful. So I set up his house. I set up his computers. He had about 3 or 4 computers, his TV, his router, installed a lot of software. And his friends came over and says, wow, who set this up for you? And he said, Andre. So he asked me if I can go, his friend asked if I can go to his house. And during a 6-month period, this guy just kept on sending me people, sending me people, sending me people, until one day he calls me. He says, Andre, I've been watching what you're doing, and I want to start a business together with you. I see that you're a hard worker, you're diligent. My friends, they're raving about you. And I know you're going to school to become an English teacher, but I want you to slow that down a little, and I want to start a business with you. Now, here I am, a 20-year-old African American kid, given the opportunity to kind of just be outside my zone, to be quite frankly. Miami Gardens at that time was not a good place to live. It wasn't a good place, but that's where I grew up. And I took that opportunity and I said, yes, let's do it. So he said, okay, whatever they're paying you at CompUSA, I'm gonna double it, and just slowly, one day at a time, let's just start to build this business. And that's exactly what we did. And 9 years later, we have one of the best, fastest growing companies in Miami Beach. We're the kings of Miami Beach doing computer repairs. This is back in the Windows XP days. And I mean, things were good. We had about 9 employees, over $1 million of sales. And I was the VP. I was the number 2 person in the business. But however, something was bothering me a little. So I went to my boss and I says, hey, it's great that, my business card says vice president and my email signature says managing partner, but there's nothing in writing that actually says we're actually partners. I want to get married. Let's put this in writing. I want this to show in paper that I have a percentage of the company. And my boss said, you know what, you made a good point, Andre. Give me a couple of months and I'm going to have the attorneys draft up something. And yeah, no problem. So a couple of months later, he calls me to his office. He says, Andre, have a seat. So I sit down. And he says, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. I said, what? Let me go? What do you mean? How can you let me go? It's like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. Then I said, that's just not possible. I mean, I literally work 7 days a week, 18-hour days to build this company. And yes, you're the one who had the money, but I put in a lot of sweat in this company. And as I walk out his office, going to the garage, I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, this is 2008. I just got a house. My son, I have a baby at home, I have a mortgage. And yes, I was making a lot of money, but I didn't save any of it. And I just didn't know what I was going to do. And as I get in my car, I remember the quote, for those of you who know that the movie Rocky, and it says, it's not how hard you get hit, but it's how you get back up. And I said to myself, you know what? Yes, he's the one who had the money, but I can do this myself. I have the business contacts. I have the knowledge. For 8-9 years now, I've been doing this and I know exactly how to run the business. I'm going to do this myself. And with $100 on December of 2009, going into 2010, with $100 in my bank account, in my personal bank account, I started ARC Solvers with my sister, actually. That's the name, ARC Solvers. And now fast forward to 2020. We have done over $1 million of sales per year. We have 10 employees. And actually for the last 3 years, we've been voted the fastest growing IT company by the South Florida Business Journal. And we are kicking butt. So let this be a motivation to you. It doesn't matter how you grew up. My mom was a single parent. My dad really wasn't in my life. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you grew up in. I grew up in Miami Gardens, Carroll City, you know, Rick Ross, all those guys. That's the neighborhood. That's the city that I grew up in. But it's about looking at what opportunities that come to you, taking those opportunities, learning from those opportunities, and then now going forward. So that's my story. That's my Saturday motivation. I hope that this touched your heart and that wherever you are in your life, especially with COVID happening, and I know a lot of business, I have a lot of friends in hospitality business, in events business, that right now they're not doing good. But I will encourage you to keep your head up and just keep on going, because it's going to get better. Just like for me, I thought that 2009 in my car trying to figure out what am I going to be doing, and I used that to then say, you know what, I'm going to go another step.